Hi there, I've gone ahead and done my one eye here using our shadow palette. But I want to show you how I did it. I'm going to show you the build, and I'm going to show you simple steps that you can use your own makeup with, or you can use any of our palettes, and it's really going to break it down and really simplify your eye makeup routine. First thing you want is to get your tools together. So find your palette or your eyeshadows that you're going to be using. Next, I like to use a liner shader brush that we have from Unique because I'm able to use this for my eyeshadow. I'm able to use this end for any sort of lining that I'm doing. It's very, very precise. It puts the product exactly where you need it, and in an intense way too if you need it. And then next thing I use is my Deluxe Brush for blending. What you want is a soft, fluffy brush that's nice and clean, that you're not going to be dipping into product. You're going to be using this separately to be blending, because blending is one of the most important things you can do when you're doing your eye makeup. So now let's dig into the details here. So the first thing you want to do to create any sort of, let's talk about simple eye, an easy eye, is you want to be using a mid-tone color that is a matte color. So in this case here, my mid-tone color is called Arrogant. So I'm just going to use my shader end to be picking up some product, and I'm going to be placing that all over my eye, right up to my crease, and even extend it over the crease. Now the most color I'm going to put down near my lash line, and you'll notice that I'm pressing in. I'm using the brush to sort of press in because I have used a makeup primer on my eyes, and what it does is it's going to grab onto those pigments. It's going to mean that I'm going to use way less product. It's going to stay exactly in place, and it's going to last all day. And it almost gives like a waterproof quality to your makeup, which is why I love using a primer all over, but especially for my eyes. So once I've gone and pressed in the makeup here, what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to take the same brush and I'm going to sort of glide and swipe up to my crease and a little bit higher. If you're somebody that has hooded eyes, what that means is that when your eyes are open, everything, your lid kind of folds in, so any eye makeup that you do doesn't get seen. So a little trick for you is to take it definitely above your crease. That way when your eyes are open, you're still seeing a little bit of that color, but don't take it up so high as your brow bone. You definitely want to have a little bit of separation between your brow and your eye makeup because you want to have this be highlighted. Okay. And by the way too, leaving this a little bit lighter, it also gives your eye a bit of a lifted appearance. So we have that color all over. And if you're curious about where you need to sort of stop blending on the outside edge, a good rule of thumb is to draw a line from your nostril through the end of your eye. By the way, that's where your brow should be ending, but it's where your eye makeup should be ending too. So if you're gonna do anything outside of this, it should be to extend that color down through your bottom lash line. Okay, so that's what I've done. I've just taken this matte mid-range tone color and I'm sort of pressing it and smudging it all out. So it's a really soft sort of light appearance. Now the next step that I'm gonna say is you're gonna take a darker shade, 1 or 2 shades darker from the shade you've already got. And if you're getting any sort of palette, this is usually by design. They usually have this sort of laid out for you. And in this palette here, you'll see that they have this arrangement here, the mid-tone and the darker color set out in the browns, and it's also done the same in the blues. So this is your mid-tone all over, and then this is the one that you're going to be using in your crease. So let's go back to the browns though. So my darker color here is called Brave. I'm going to use that same brush, pick up a small amount of pigment, and I'm going to press it into my outer lid. I'm going to create a C or a V type shape by pressing that right in up into my crease, and I do not want this color to be extending above my crease. My crease is like the furthest point up that I want this to be going. Okay, and then I'm just sort of then brushing, carrying the color out. I really want to focus the intensity of the color on the last third of my eye, and blending that out to about halfway. I don't want to have that color be on this side because I want to maintain that lighter color still over the whole rest of my eye. But you can see that I've gone in a little bit darker in the outer V and taking it up into the crease. Okay. Now the next step you're going to do is go in with your Deluxe brush, that big, soft, sort of powdery brush that's clean. You can use the back of your hand as a palette if you need to. And you are going to just really use this windshield wiper motion to just smooth out all the edges. This brush is so just unbelievably soft. It glides over, it doesn't pull anything. It's not pulling, you're not trying to pull your makeup. You're just simply trying to create this really soft appearance. Now the last thing I like to do when it comes to this, I guess these steps, is I take whatever excess is on my brush. I like to start in the outer edge here, and I like to pull down just into my lower lash line. I go about halfway across, because it creates that really soft, polished, finished look without having to use liner on your bottom lashes and your bottom lash line. Do you see how it does that there? Do you see how the contrasting color of the browns and the golds and the rusts really makes my blue eyes pop? It's a wonderful effect, and I will tell you that no matter what eye color you have, there is a contrasting color that works perfectly for your eyes. It's really gonna accentuate that beautiful feature about yourself. So that is sort of like it in a nutshell. But I wanna show you a last bonus tip that I love using to create the illusion of a more lighter, brighter open eye. So when you're using your liner shader brush, this is where, again, you're using the back of the hand as a palette, and you're just going to brush off any excess loose, darker pigments that you may have, and you're gonna go in with your lightest color. So even if I'm using these colors for the blues, I still like to come in with this light color here to do this next trick, whether I'm using the browns or the blues. So I'm gonna pick up a little bit of that pigment. You can see that there on the end of my brush, and I'm gonna be pressing this into the tear duct, and just taking it on the top and the top of my lid as well as the bottom. Do you see how it's picked up the color right there? Okay, pressing that in, and it really just grabs onto that, the primer. So do you see how lighter and brighter that open eye? It just makes it look brighter and more open. And these eyes are the same. And the next tip is going to be to just do the same thing by pressing that lighter color, and it can have a little bit of a shimmer in it. That is okay for this step. You're going to press that into your brow bone, and it just gives the appearance of a lifted eye and a lifted brow. It's just illusions. They're just makeup tricks. So the last thing you're going to do again is just come in with your soft blending brush, windshield wiper motion, and you're going to be softly blending out all these edges, carrying the colors right in together. The blending is really the most important part. If you're using, no matter what colors you're using, and I've seen people, I've tried it myself, just as like a random selection, pick any two colors. As long as you are blending properly, you can make any colors work. I promise you. Any two colors in the color wheel, you can pick out any two. As long as you're properly blending, it's gonna look gorgeous. So I hope you found that informative. Remember, again, the points of using a mid-tone color all over, a darker color in your outer V, blending it into your crease and trying not to go too high with that darker color, softly blending all over, and then using a lighter color with a tiny bit of a shimmer to it to really accentuate and pop the tear duct, and to use that on your brow bone to really make things sort of come forward and pop out. So I hope you enjoyed those tips today, and if you have any questions about your own makeup, your own eye color, what colors you could be or should be using, then reach out and let's do a makeup consult. They're really quick and easy. We can do them all online, and it helps us to really cater the tips and tricks that I'm sharing with you to your makeup bag and to what you're using, what's gonna look best on you to accentuate your already gorgeous features. So thanks, and have a wonderful day.